Live at BET Awards. Make sure you're watching it 8 o'clock on BET, because you'll see superstars like the legendary, the great. No one makes songs better than this man right here, Raphael Saadiq.
The legend himself, BIGVON.
Hey, man.
Right here.
I'm just trying to keep
Very
up.
his own.
Just trying to keep up. He was mad at me.
In many places.
I'm everywhere, man. I'm just trying to keep up with you.
DJing, killing it with Most and Talib. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Hey, man, I'm trying to spread my wings and do a whole lot of stuff.
You got to do that, man. It's so good to be here. And, talking about my new album, I've been running around talking about Jimmy Lee.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lee is about drug addiction.
Why is Jimmy
prison
Lee
reform? Because Jimmy Lee is from Louisiana, but ended up in the Middle East Oakland.
Okay.
Addicted to heroin. He's my oldest brother. I was a mistake child, so he could have been like my father, brother.
Word.
And so he was the guy that would drop me off like dogs, pit bulls. My mother would put the dogs in the car and drop them off at the park at Nolan Park, Nolan Zoo. And but what I remember about Jimmy Lee was he was always a heroin addict. And people sort of treated him bad, and like how you treat somebody that smoked out in Oakland.
Yeah.
Smoke, man. Just like jokes about my brother. And I really loved and respected my brother. And I thought about all the beautiful things he did. And I thought so many people may have a Jimmy Lee in their lives. So I did it. Now, it's not an homage record. It's just a hashtag to Jimmy.
Right.
And I feel like everybody has a Jimmy in their life. So my single, Something That Keeps Calling, is saying whatever it is that's not good for you, it's a burden on your life.
Yeah.
It's heavy. But you could get through it.
Right.
And on the end of the record, I end with, Kendrick on this record called Rear View, which is, he's not a feature on my record. You won't see his name because I didn't want to use him like that. But he could speak to what I was speaking to indirectly in a way that it didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
And it's not a single, it's a story. So my record from A to Z, it goes through nonstop. It doesn't stop. It's a story.
Word.
It's like a short film, a real one. And I feel like all across the world, men don't have an album. And somebody told me it's a record for men and women, but men haven't had a record since Marvin Gaye. And if that's what I've done, I don't know. But I do know this. It's a lot of great stories in this record that people can relate to. It fits with me. It fits with everything that I've done in the past and present. And I've only tried to do me. I've never made music to fit in with no one. I never cared about that. I've always enjoyed everybody else's music. I've always stayed a fan of everybody who made music, whether it was trap, whether it was some of the worst shit people call the worst shit. I don't call people music the worst shit.
Right.
It's just what you do. You know how we say it. If you're in the house working on something and you ain't out hurting anyone, I'm with it.
Yeah.
That's because we need you to be in the house creating
and
not on the street killing. But this record, it's sonically driven by drums, Ableton beats, all kind of dope edits and, sounds that from hip-hop to R&B to jazz to gospel, everything that I've been inspired by and learned is on this record.
You're really selling this very, very well.
I'm selling it, Von. I learned from you, bro. I got to get out here and sell, bro. We from the Bay, bro. You could get this August 23rd, but did I send you the album, though?
No. You going to come to my show and play it for me in the back. He played me 2 songs that I got to go, Von, and ain't left it. He's supposed to play me the rest.
Shoot me the email. You got my cell number, right?
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you because I really want you to listen to it, because I think people that listen to my record honestly going to tell me more about my record than I told them about it.
Right.
Because we all had a Jimmy Lee in our life. And, man, I'm addicted to damn near, every piece of sugar, donuts, and chocolate chip cookies.
Is that why you don't want none of the candy I got over there?
Bro, I got here, I started laughing. I grew up on Snickers. And, Snickers and now and later's hard-ass piece of candy. And eating, I was so hood with it, I should ride my 10-speeder on East Oakland, on Birch, with a pickle, with a peppermint in the middle, and a package of peanut butter, peanut M&Ms, bro. How dirty and hood is that? And it was, and we'll pull a pig feet out the jar at the store. We was so hood with it. So I just feel like addiction is more than addiction of drugs. So I'm not coming down on people that have drug addiction.
Right.
I'm just saying we all have drug addiction.
Yeah.
And you look around Oakland right now with so many homeless people, they down one check and you out because of gentrification, because of it's so hard to live.
That's why I asked you before you go there. you growing up in Oakland in the hard times when it was a lot rougher than it is that made you the man that you are today. How is it now? How do you see Oakland when you come home now?
When I come home to Oakland, one time I came to Oakland, tears came out of my eyes because I felt like I was raised in a beautiful place,
Right.
but it was a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you fell into the trap, you were done. But when I go home today, it's so different. But when I moved to my neighborhood, which is East Oakland, 94th Avenue, it was all white people first.
Word.
The neighborhood was all white people. It was
Right.
like 2 white people left. Old man Chris and his mean-ass wife, who used to didn't like us to get our basketball out of her backyard and we shoot it over the backboard. She was mean as hell.
30 years.
But
He still calls her man.
old white man Chris was really nice to us. So I want to say, white people were there before we were there.
Yeah.
We occupied it, and they moved back when they couldn't afford to live in different places. So when I go to different places and restaurants, I make myself familiar to all these Italian restaurants everywhere that some black people won't go. And I tell them, hey, dude, I used to shop at Garibaldi's for my suits when I was a kid. I'm coming here, and I'm going to eat here because I survived these streets. A lot of my friends died in these streets in East Oakland. So I come back, and I dive into that shit, bruh, because that's my city. And who is behind me?
Johnny Gill.
Oh, JG.
My cousin.
What?
Johnny
is
Gill
my cousin.
jumped in.
What's up?
What's good? Man,
What's up? You good?
man.
Yeah, we just talking
I
about
heard
these
about that
streets,
smoking
Eco,
that's coming
just
out.
like DC, same thing. Detroit, the same thing. This story goes around the world, but it's not a message record, but somebody can get a lot of messages out of it.
All right. He said he heard of it. You ain't played
Man,
with Johnny
they've been
either?
talking about it. They've been talking about it. I just saw him about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then I started hearing it was like, yo, Saadiq just came and getting ready to just putting a baseball bat across their head. I was like, what the hell? He didn't even tell me.
Because I'm trying to get some records for Ralph Tresvant on his label. So I'm like, once mine's in the can, I don't talk about mine. I'm trying to get the next record. That's how I keep it moving. I'm trying to get Ralph Tresvant a record. That's, New Edition is one of my favorite groups.
Yeah.
So that's how I keep it moving. But back to Oakland. Back to this Bay shit. Yo, I love the Bay. And I say, the Bay don't get enough credit for like creating all this slap that they created for years.
Yeah.
And
Did you feel the same way when your records was super large and they start emulating your sound? Did you feel the same way we feel about our rap?
no, because my records kind of just took off and went all around the world. But I know being in
But
Oakland,
they start singing like you and they start giving
yeah,
melodies like
they always do that. We just talented, man. The Bay is always ahead of everybody.
you. Yeah.
I mean, strengthen them numbers, even though we just lost.
Oh, you had to go there. We was having
Yeah.
a good time. He gonna take it to that shit. We was motivating. We
We
trying
still
we was
motivating
trying to
on that
end
slap.
addiction, gentrification, and you gonna bring up the Warriors.
And
That's some bullshit.
I like mustard.
Ain't too many people gonna do that.
Oh!
Look at that Bay, yeah.
Big dog.